The Acolyte really did have everything.
He steps forward with the sunlight accentuating his taut muscles.
A lot of the series was just audiobook smut.
Pressed against him, she meets his sympathetic gaze, still throbbing right in front of his throat.
Marketing for the finale even had 2 co-stars pretending to bang as an advertisement. I don't even know what I'm watching. And that's all before the main actress going on television and slurring the fans.
Show has made you a target for the inclusive casting. I decided that that was the most important thing to me, to be vocal. Silence can send a message as well, and inaction can be very dangerous. Yeah. I dropped a diss track. About it.
Making music videos just so she could slur the fans. And after seeing the finale, you can only assume it was actually to distract you from the show itself. Wanted anyone to talk about anything except the show itself.
Pretending life is tough when I'm in fancy clothes. Cry wolf, cry wolf.
The hand-to-hand Matrix fighting has always been stupid in this show. But now we've got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as well. Jedi, the anti-grav machines. I've said from the start, this is why I hate wire work, because people forget gravity exists. Although, let's face it, given the story of this plot, gravity is the least of their issues. This show forgets the key fundamental part of storytelling, that the villain is to get what he deserves. That there should be a cathartic release of evil getting punished, and the more horrific things happen to the good guys, the more he has to be punished. Don't worry about this though, because the middle-aged housewives really like Manny Jaccinto, and so they got to fantasize that they were Osha at the end.
Throbbing.
What is even happening? That's the real reason for the thick lightsaber shafts. We're getting seduced by evil.
Where did they come from?
Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
They've brainwashed you.
Anger, fear, desire.
As she held his thick shaft against his neck.
Still throbbing right in front of his throat.
Throbbing.
That's the path to the dark side.
Well, will certainly lead to a black owl, I'll give you that one.
Throbbing.
It's that time again for straw rats. She needs to get some anti-snoring medication. Stat. I'm not sure what it is about putting on that helmet and becoming a mouth-breathing Reddit mod. Ironically, that is a sensory deprivation helmet, and every Reddit mod has been deprived of their senses. But Manny's here, staring at his helmet. Oh no! It turns out when you leave an evil cow with nothing to think about except herself, well, the dark thoughts get to her. She's realised that the worst fate anyone can have in this universe is being subjected to her own company. So he tries to remove the helmet, and can't for some reason which is literally never explained. The world changes like he's been possessed by the witches, but what? He's trying to take the helmet off, but he can't. And with his eyes, you see he's possessed. But remember, the Force can't get through that helmet. Yes, it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Eventually, though, he seems to overcome the Force taking over him. No one knows. He just can, alright? Until he rips the helmet off her, which for some reason immediately stops her being able to use the Force. And we get a reaction of her, which is similar to when she meets her own father. Being oppressed by the Danish. When she says, I had a vision, I saw May. She had her hand outstretched. She was holding a lightsaber but wasn't using it and was killing Sol.
This is the future you saw.
Or it was a random hallucination because she had a panic attack the instant she was subjected to her own personality. I know which one I'm going with. And I don't know why she reacts. Look how she reacts, hang on.
She can kill with no weapon.
Oh my god, that was major information. It means literally nothing. She strangled him. She could do exactly the same thing. Osha, though, she's like, the future isn't fixed. I'm in control of my own destiny. Are we trying to make a Matrix plotline?
But the future isn't fixed. I can still stop her.
No, that's as deep as that plot goes. Turns out it is fixed and she can't stop her. This is episode 8. We've learned not to expect depth by now. So he's like, how are you gonna do that? I'm taking my ship. But you don't know where we're going. Oh, maybe we should go together.
So we go together and see who gets to her first.
Well, that'd be a piece of piss, wouldn't it? The moment you arrive at the planet, hit her with a lightsaber. GG, it's not like she can beat you in a fight. I mean, look at her. I'm not sure she could take on Mr. Blobby. Thanks back with Sol and May now, then they're orbiting Brendok. Sol has contacted the Jedi because he wants them to meet him there. His theory being that now he has Osha and May, they can prove there's a vergence on the planet, despite the fact that they already had vergence on the planet.
This is impossible.
Only a virgin could create that type of power.
30 years ago, or however long it was. Let's be honest, no one cares. She takes this opportunity to do what Osha loves doing with Pip.
You.
Pull his head off. And at this point, I actually have one major question about what on earth is happening.
Accident.
How does she know it does that? This isn't even her droid. And yet somehow she knew that Osha equipped it with a lockpick. But during this conversation, Sol has a really stupid reason for why he killed the mother.
What happened to you, to your coven, was an accident.
No, it wasn't. We intended that to happen. Your mother turned into a dark side Sith smoke demon and was melting her child. And then all the other witches invaded the minds of your friend and got him to try and kill all of the other friends. Everything was justified in self-defense and escalated by the witches. So it would be a really bad idea if that was the foundation of this episode. That would mean none of it made any sense. It'd be a shame if that happened. No, seriously, that is as subtle as the foreshadowing in this episode gets. And she's like, if it was an accident, why didn't you tell Osha?
Why did you lie to her?
And actually, in this context, being like, why didn't you tell the Occupational Safety and Health Administration? Is a legitimate question. There was a fire, people died. But May starts making absolutely no sense.
Why did you lie to her? Why did you blame it on me?
Because you did it, you silly bins. You burned the entire place down and killed everybody there. Why are you holding me accountable like an evil man?
You started the fire.
Based. Hashtag Sol did nothing wrong.
You locked everyone in.
Because the Jedi invaded our home.
That doesn't even make sense. No, you locked everybody in so they couldn't invade your home.
No one can get in or out.
You just didn't know they were going to climb a mountain. But then again, they only climbed a mountain because you set fire to your own sister, so you're still to blame. Either way, she uses the head of a robot that she ripped off to pick the lock.
Everyone in there died because of the four of you.
No, everyone died because you set fire to your own house. And then initiated violent attacks on people that were far superior to you. Really should have known better, shouldn't you? Don't pick fights with people who are stronger than you.
My biggest regret is that I wasn't able to save you both.
My biggest regret would have been that I didn't strike them both down with a lightsaber, but each to their own. If only he knew she would have grown up to start pelvic thrusting at the camera. He probably would have cared less about saving them as children, but he starts telling her, you're not twins, you're not even sisters, but at that moment she breaks free. And somehow the lockpick turns into a taser? How does she know the pit droid does any of this stuff? It's not her pit droid. It's like she put on Osha's clothes and went, oh, I've got her brain now as well. She runs away though, looking for an escape. The furry dude's here because they want him to sell merch. It's the only answer I can think of, because they're not going to be able to sell Amandla Stenberg to children anymore, are they? I mean, what's her brand? Just an arse twerking into a void forever. You can't sell kids' toys out of that. The droid starts helping her, though. His eyes turn blue.
Shit.
And that's her escape. Can you imagine if that had played out literally any other way? If only the escape ship had been signaled by green LEDs, well, it would have all been over right there.
See you now, Jedi.
At least she knows where she's going, which means she understands that she's in the wrong. May, though, takes off in an escape ship. The Eteloka. And Sol decides to chase her. I don't know why. A ship doesn't have hyperdrive, she can't go anywhere, except Brendok, which is where he wanted her to go anyway. Just sit in orbit and wait for the Jedi to arrive, what's the problem? Instead, he chases her down, and I'm not really sure what his plan is. And I've seen his plan, and I'm still not sure why he's doing it. Because she wants to get away from him. Again, I don't know why. You'll be left stranded on Brendok. How is that a good thing? But to escape him, she flies between two rings on a planet. And I'm not sure this is how rings work, but whatever.
He's too big to follow us in here.
Yeah, that's what she thinks. I thought all those influencers were too fat to get on a plane.
Individuals shouldn't travel comfortably or without stigma. However,
And they invented seat extensions. Sol, though, being a complete idiot, decides to blow up his own ship, which is what should have happened, but didn't happen because of plot armor. He literally smashes through the rings of a planet. As far as I know, ships in Star Wars don't have energy shields. That means he's smashing rocks away with his hull. He'd die immediately. Of course, though, Furry Guy is standing in the background because he's read the script and knows he'll have to do something in a minute. Sol pulls up a targeting thing, and he's like, I don't even know why you need that. You do have eyes, and you're not shooting lasers, which is what that's for. So of course, Furry Dude isn't happy that he's lining up Osha in the targeting reticle. May, even. That's right, he doesn't like the fact that you might be about to kill a Sith. I also don't know why he's about to do it. He was all about, I need to capture you and convince you, literally 5 seconds before. Then she runs away. First instinct wants to kill her. It's weird. But he does try to smash into her. I don't know why. I mean, I'm like, go on, Sol, get it done. It just doesn't fit with his motivations from 3 minutes ago. But, unfortunately, just as he's about to turn May into a blood smear across the universe, in comes the furry guy and messes it all up. Just ripping out random wires so that he can't run her over anymore. And then runs off. Hit him in the face with a lightsaber. It's what he deserves. So Sol's ship then randomly flips over because he was forced to slow down or something. This causes her ship to flip and fly end over end through space. So now no one has any control over the vehicle, can't escape, and she ends up crashing into a planet. Alright, somehow she survived that again. I think May's bones are adamantium. And if all your spaceships are crashing into planets this often, build in an ejector seat. Over on Snack Sorok, a wild soy appears and tells Vanestra, there's someone to meet you. Where is he?
He's in there.
You let him in the control room?
As opposed to where exactly? Would you prefer me to send him to your bed chambers? Because to be honest, darling, I don't think he's interested. Probably best we keep this professional. In the control center. Yeah, really, it's just an excuse for her to crap on somebody that she knows is far too weak and soy to actually complain. Hit her in the head with a lightsaber, it would solve everything. And that's when you see Martian Manhunter from Supergirl.
When I first acquired the tower, I installed some upgrades.
The tower is a ship. I love Martian technology.
He must have flown over here and shape-changed into a different person. He's like, I've heard you've been flying around recently.
How is your stomach?
It's my head, actually.
What? No, it's your stomach.
Are you joining us on the mission, Master? You get nauseous when you travel through hyperspace?
And I'm not sure lying and saying it's your head makes it better.
I find it unsettling.
Oh, I heard you get queasy when you go through hyperspace. No, I get brain damage. But it is far more believable, but I'm not sure it helps her case to be leader of the Jedi.
I've heard some disturbing things.
What have you heard?
That you're leader of the Jedi. And I've come to tell you, don't you think we should get someone competent in charge instead?
That you are running a murder investigation without reporting it to the Senate.
This is why you don't go around and tell everybody when you're keeping a piss in secret.
I'm keeping this internal for the moment.
They do tend to do that. Especially with those thick lightsabers. But it says, no, I'm keeping it internal. We're investigating the Jedi victims. Oh, there's multiple victims. Is the attacker a Jedi? Oh, we're very close to catching him.
You don't like me.
To be fair, I don't like her either. He says, you think me investigating the Jedi is a personal vendetta. And then we get a really random rant, which is basically just Leslye Headland putting herself in the show and going, I don't like good people. Why can't everyone be evil like me?
I think the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power, posing as a religion.
So, what's wrong with unchecked power? There's nothing inherently wrong with unchecked power. The problem is the person who's wielding it. If they're a good person, it's a good thing. If they're a bad person, it's a bad thing. The Jedi are good, therefore them in power is good. Your oppression narrative doesn't work here, darling.
A delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable.
Except they do control it, so that's why she could force pull you across the room.
We don't control the Force.
Yes, you do. Of course you do. This is how you can force pull people.
Your emotions project an image of goodness and restraint.
Yes, something Leslye Headland isn't experiencing. There's no way you could be good and exercise restraint. I'm dark-sided. I've never been able to do that myself.
But it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. Who will be strong enough to stop him?
The Jedi. Next.
That's certainly an opinion, and not one shared by the rest of the Senate.
Why is that your rebuttal? When one of us snaps, we'll be the ones that take him down. That's why we train, is a legitimate answer. Piss off!
When you're looking up to hero, you don't have to face what's right in front of you.
This is all the show's attempt to go, there is no goodness in the world, everyone's evil just like I am. It's like, no, that's just Hollywood, love. You're surrounded by filth and excrement, and so you're putting it in your pissing show.
Is that all, Senator?
He literally came in, waffled on for a bit, didn't make any sense, and left. Stop a Jedi when he breaks. The Jedi. You have uncontrolled power. Yes, based. Good people should have uncontrolled power. That's what stops the evil people.
No, what is it you say? May the Force be with you.
It is with her. She's a pissing Jedi. But at this moment, I think we should all pay close attention to Leslye Headland's wife. Acting! There will come a day where we have another expression. Today is not that day. Back on the planet with the cancerous tumors, and it seems like this one has the baby one growing out of their own back. The things they will do for much. You have a weird conversation where it's like, I'm not going to tell you where we're going until we get there. That's fair. Do I strike you as a fair person? Yes, you made a deal with my sister. That's fair. It's like, he's a Sith. He's the embodiment of evil. You can't rewrite him, so he's like, well, he's just a fair person, just dealing with people in an open marketplace of ideas. All of the bias in this episode is so unwieldy, as it's desperately trying to convince the audience of something which is obviously not true, and it all just comes across as desperate. No, please, won't you submit to evil?
You should be trained. Would you ever consider?
No.
I'm surprised.
As he begins to untie a belted knot from around his waist, she straightens up for a better look.
I thought she'd be like, I need lightsaber training, but only your little one. The second one in his hip. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Throbbing.
I'm not my sister.
You're definitely not.
It's like he just farted on her as he went past. I think it's disgust, but it could just be retching bitch face. It's like resting, not retching. Retching works as well, let's be honest. I mean, look at it. Wow, she actually went for an entire clip there without even changing an expression. Sorry, I mean a series, not a clip. And then we get the universe's most hated scene. Dun dun dun. No, everyone else is like, oh, it's Darth Plagueis. I laughed for a different reason. Because he just reminds me of Abe's Odyssey. What is seen cannot be unseen. It even had their music in the background. Back now at the Coven base, which definitely isn't a suspicious V shape with, well, isn't that a strangely placed protrusion in the, subtlety, not Hollywood's strong point. That's why they keep getting caught. Sol, though, turns his transponder back on so that all the Jedi know where he is. Then Sol uses the Force to sense where May is. And goes after her. And I'm like, have you not been doing that before? Now we've established that these people aren't stupid and can sense things through the Force. Why have they never done this before? Like, oh, I don't know. When May, the same character, blew a bit of dust in your face and you lost her.
I've lost visual.
Would have come in handy then, wouldn't it? Back on Coruscant, Captain Soy has an important message.
We found Master Sol. He's turned his transponder beacon back on.
And we've run out of avocados on toast. It means that they go to Brendok because plot has to happen. And so despite the fact that we've just arbitrarily gone to Brendok, we've now reverse engineered nonsense reasons for everyone else to go there. So plot can happen.
You anticipate a confrontation?
A resolution.
Because it's the final episode and she's read the script. Back on Brendok, the evil people have arrived. For some reason, in his own ship, he gave Osha the ability to cut his controls. Literally locked out of his own ship. Sith Masters literally expected to be betrayed at all times. It was even the point of the rule of two. And yet he puts her in the driving seat. Literally.
They're already there.
They're lucky they didn't smash into that mountain. Sol, though, is walking around the Witch's Coven, overgrown, damaged, basically falling apart. Not much has changed. Without men there to do the upkeep and maintenance, this was inevitable. That's why all the stone building was covered in highly flammable material. At that point, though, the Sith arrive at the door.
Getting this elevator operational is the only way in, unless you want to climb.
I mean, they could climb. It takes about 20 seconds. Remember in the last episode, the two guys managed to drive along in a speeder and climb a mountain faster than a spaceship could fly there the same distance. Just climb the mountain. It's faster than the pissing lift.
Are you sure?
Ta-da! He's just vanished. You probably think that'll be explained. It won't. No, he's just vanished, and we're not going to explain how he got up there. Did he turn into that Sith smoke demon and fly to... Who knows? My guess is as good as somebody who's literally never seen the series. Sol goes back and revisits the place where the two people almost died, and if only they both had, the universe would have been a better place. Don't go around saving pure evil from an evil Sith coven. I think that's a lesson we can all take to heart. But at least they chose the right music for the scene. I don't know what's going on. Like there's a whale calling out for a mate. Should have just played dolphin screeching. Thing is, though, as he walks away... Wait, where was she all that time? Apparently, hanging down like something out of Metal Gear Solid. I wonder if she had a... I'm surprised they didn't add in a stamina meter above her head. And at this point, I don't even know what her plan is. We're now just randomly walking around the base. You don't have a ship, love. How do you think you're going to get off the planet? You have to go back to him, otherwise, as far as you know, you're going to be here for the rest of your life. Back down at the elevator, Osha hotwires this elevator to get the doors to work. How did that happen? That was never broken. It was the one upstairs that was broken, which meant that this one didn't work because the signal couldn't reach the top at something. I said it didn't make any sense in episode 7 because these buttons would still be able to work the elevator. No, they could definitely still get... You just can't get out, love. You've only smashed the door controls on your side. But you're a child. No one expects you to know electrical engineering. I've been proven right, but in the wrong pissing episode. But as Sol keeps exploring, going, May! May!
That tells me you're afraid of the truth, huh?
May! You half expect him to shout out, Occupational Health and Safety Administration! He does have a visitor.
Thank you for leading me to her.
He didn't. Osha had a vision of the future and she flew you here. Sol hasn't led you anywhere.
We make a great team.
Sol has literally nothing to do with your entire story. But really, it was just an excuse to have another fight. And honestly, just like in episode 6, their fight is the best fight. As we have seen repeatedly proven through series after series, when men fight, it's better. Because they were literally evolved to fight, everything just looks better when they do it, and it comes across more natural. And you do have problems like that where, okay, you kicked him around the face, but hit him in the face with a lightsaber. But again, you could argue that in this scene, he knows it's not going to kill him. It's not even really his point. I'm not even sure why he's fighting. He knows Osha has had a vision of the future of Sol dying at somebody else's hand anyway. Kind of feel like this is just done for fun. Unless in season 2, there's another backstory where he basically goes, oh, you offended me when I was a child. So the fight continues, and there is a really cool bit here. Because despite the initial bit... where they keep attacking the roof and leaving literally 0 marks in it. We then move on to the cool bit. Look, anything that destroys the environment is cool. And I really like that view from the outside. If you're going to have the Force and lightsabers in a TV show, do cool stuff with them. Because it's a brand for men, you need to worry more about the things and less about the feelings. Yeah, there's no excuse for this bit though. We had to follow up a cool bit with a pissing ridiculous bit where we dive out and gravity ceases to matter. Have I ever told you how much I hate wire work? I understand it's necessary for the stunts. You're not supposed to be able to tell they're on wires though, are you? Like changing the angle of your fall as you're falling.
I will destroy you if I must.
Sol chooses now to get based. Okay, where was this Sol 8 episodes ago? So the fight continues, except he now splits his blade in half and gets out his little tiny one, which is something that Osha is particularly interested in. This choreography not as good as the single-bladed one. There's so many opportunities where if he just attacked with both of them, he'd win. At one point, he even uses both of his lightsabers at the same point. Attack from both sides at the same time, mate, you'll win. It's easy. And also, throughout this entire fight, I was only thinking one thing. Use your helmet, mate. Smash his lightsaber into your helmet, you'll win immediately. Now this is, I think, the best fight of the series, by a mile. The only close one is the last fight that these two people had. And Sol is holding his own, which, considering this guy wiped out 8 Jedi without even thinking about it, is particularly impressive. Except I have a feeling that this is actually meant to be, well, Sol is quite emotional now, and that means he's embraced half Jedi and half the dark side, and so he's balanced. And so because he's balanced by being half evil, he's actually more powerful. And that's not really a theory, because they basically said that in interviews, just about Indara rather than Sol. But that was pre this episode, so we'll probably get it confirmed with him as well. That's what I mean about it being stupid. I've got a lightsaber. I'm going to turn that off so I can kick you in the chest. Just hit him with the lightsaber in the chest. But then we get the dual lightsaber throw. Only for them to be force pulled back. And so as they're returning, he puts his lightsaber away. He's about to get punched in the face by a Sith. And I mean, Force Fart is definitely a new ability for Sol. And I guess it's like, oh, he learned that from me. And it was only at this point where I really appreciated just how thick Sol's shaft was. He can barely fit his hands around it. And now at this point, I'm thinking, you need to work out whether you want to use 2 or 1 lightsabers, mate. Pick whichever one is better and do that. I have to keep flicking between them. But we have a break from the action now to talk about our feelings a little bit more between Osha and me. I'd just be like, you're evil. You murdered everyone in this entire building. But she says it's all your fault. All this death was because you didn't want me to become a Jedi.
I didn't do this.
Yeah, you did. You literally set the entire building on fire. She saw you do it.
Sol lied to you.
No, he didn't. We saw the truth. At this point, you're either stupid or you changed the script and forgot you changed the script.
He blamed me. Sol never blamed you.
He should have blamed you. It was her fault. And she says, Sol tried to teach me to accept that someone that I love could create this destruction, but I couldn't get over it. I couldn't get past my feelings, and that's why I had to drop out of a Jedi. Because of you.
Learn to calm my negative emotions. My hatred of you. My grief.
Have you considered telling your face about it? I don't think it's found out yet. But then she goes, Sol killed our mother. I saw it with my own eyes. It's like, what? Like, she saw you set fire to the entire building with her own eyes that you just said was not true. Pick a lane.
He's lied to you every day since you left our home.
He did it for a good reason, because she was turning into a dark-sided Sith monster and evaporating her child. There was a load of people about to attack him. The witches had escalated it. He wanted to get down to the kids to save them, and these people were attacking him because they didn't care. Yes, he did it, and yes, he deserved to do it.
How could he teach you to control your negative emotions? He's the reason you have them.
No, the witches are the reason she has them. And because you're going to deliberately misunderstand the events of the last episode, because you're biased and want to support the evil side, literally nothing from this point on will make any sense, because the foundation is that Sol killed the mother, and he shouldn't have done, but he should have done. And so it doesn't make any sense. Either way, Osha suddenly learns that she can fight. And breaks the rules of friction, so, you know, I thought it was pretty impressive. Next up, we get a Matrix fight, and like I say, I hate this style of fighting in Star Wars. It works in the Matrix, not in this. It's not even the fighting is done particularly badly, I don't like the style. I can't take that seriously. I'm sorry. I just can't. And I do have to question, when you telegraph your moves so much, why don't people take advantage of it? It's very slow as well. If you had two men do this, it would be a lot faster and would look a lot better. It's why if you're going to have fight scenes in movies, just get a bloke to do it. I mean, look at the speed that we're going at. It is literally, are you ready for the next move? Are you ready for the next move? Come on. She had an expression. I'm so proud of it. Back up with Sol, though. You see the ship arriving.
Now you pay for what you've done.
Quite the admission, isn't it? I'm glad they've arrived because I wasn't going to be able to do this on my own. I'm sorry, Sol, but how fast do you think they're gonna get here? This fight should definitely be over by that time.
Oh, they're not here for me.
Yes, they're here for the Starbucks downstairs. So Osha and May keep fighting for a while. Basically more of the same. But then they look up and see the ship through a hole in the roof. Why is there a hole in the roof? Was it just so we could get this camera shot? The thing is, though, as she's just looking up at the ship, for some reason... Oh yeah, May's just gone. You can't do that. She's not Batman. If you'd shown us that all of these people could disappear into that weird Sith gas stuff, this would actually make sense. But as we don't know they've done that, this just comes across stupid. Back with Sol and Manny fighting, you really should have given him a character name. Otherwise we have to use the actor's name, because you couldn't be bothered to think of one. But Manny has a plan. Grab his hand and force his lightsaber into his own face. So as he's pulling it with all of his might towards his own head, I'm just thinking, move your head forwards. You don't need to force it to you. Your head moves. You don't even need to keep the helmet on. You can put it in your fist and use it as a weapon. That'll be way stronger. It also sounds like a balloon deflating for some reason that I'm not really sure why. But despite getting it that close to his own face, where he could literally just lean forwards and touch it, for some reason, I don't know. He let go and then went to bang it back on himself. He has to really smash his head into a lightsaber, does he? Because that's what allows Sol to turn his lightsaber off, throw him off balance, literally like the meme animation I was watching the other week. Which is entirely where they got the idea. I'd put money on it. Before they both go to attack each other, and you have to say, from this angle, it looks like Manny's about to win. No, as you can see, his lightsaber's damaged. Sol literally could have just swept his entire lightsaber and cut him in half, which is what he should have done, but instead, just goes for the lightsaber. Now, at this point, I was thinking, well, you only cut the end bit. There's still a mini lightsaber in the back he could use. No, I just throws that away. It's not worth it anymore. If I can't use the big one, what's the point? No one likes being stuck with a little tiny one. Guess that'd be too embarrassing to use on its own. I don't know why he takes his helmet off then. Despite the fact he's being held at lightsaber point, you have an anti-lightsaber weapon. Just hit the lightsaber with it. Hit the lightsaber. But at that very moment, Where on earth does she come from? No, seriously. Now you know what's about to happen, let's go back. Everything's normal. Watch the angle from which she appears. She comes out the pissing ground. She is directly beneath him. I know she's like 3'2" or something, but remember, he can sense her across an entire planet. And he couldn't sense her literally underneath his hand. Honestly, Sol, you deserve this. How did you let a midget stand underneath you and you didn't see her? So she takes his lightsaber.
Good, May. Feel your anger. Fear the dark side.
So apparently, lightsabers, really fragile things, just by getting tapped on the ground, it seems to have cracked the crystal. Now remember, these things literally smash into each other all the time. It is what they're designed to do, but a little bump breaks it for some reason.
Strike him down.
And he'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
And your journey will be complete.
Yeah, that's what I said. But May's like, no, I don't want to. I want him to admit it. I want him to face the High Council and the Senate. I want him to face the Republic and pay for his crimes. I'm like, well, to be fair, a lightsaber to the face would pretty dramatically be paying for his crimes.
I did the right thing.
Base Sol coming in there. In fact, what that line should have been is, I did the right thing, and I'd do it again. Your mother got what she deserved.
I wanted to protect you both.
True. No lies detected. But of course, when a show is made by evil, then good people have to be persecuted, as opposed to the normal way of making entertainment, where the evil people are persecuted, as that's justice. One is in line with the audience morality, and the other is, repulsive to them. Which one do you think this episode chooses? But he says, you're not twins, you're not sisters.
You and Osha are the same person.
I'm not sure why I should care. Whether they're twins, the same person, two consciousnesses, one consciousness split into two people. I'm not sure what the relevance is of any of this. She could be half a person, she'd still be evil. But he says, I don't know how your mother did it, but it came down to a virgins. It made you powerful. So powerful. But at that moment...
In the history of the galaxy, very few have been that powerful.
There's no one as powerful as you two. The ultimate creations of fan fiction, of course, they're the most powerful people in the universe. At that moment, though, Osha comes in and picks up the cracked lightsaber. And May sees her opportunity to trap him, I guess.
And you killed her.
I mean, do you see what this is what I mean by the people in Hollywood only have their own life experiences. They have things like, well, I was at an office or I was at a party and someone started talking about somebody and then it turned out they were behind me and I'd been bad-mouthing them. Well, this scene is that. It is literally, you just bad-mouthed your boss.
You killed our mother.
Yes, I did. And I'd do it again.
Silence can send a message as well, and inaction can be very dangerous.
Your mother was evil. You're evil. We were getting attacked by the murderous cesspool that was your family. I acted in self-defense, and even that exercised more strength than your family deserved.
Yes.
Base, and I'd do it again.
There's something dangerous about those women.
Go on, say it.
I did.
Yeah, he admitted it. I don't know why she's upset. She saw him do it. Are you telling me the one time you decide to change your facial expression is when you hear information that you already knew? But she looks over her shoulder. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, fellow evil person over there? She's like, I did. I'm gonna be even more evil now than I was before.
Is that true?
What do you mean, is it true? He's just pissing said it. Did you really mean that, or were you just telling a joke? I'm not sure whether you're having a fight or a stand-up contest.
I was protecting you.
True. Your mum got what she deserved. All these witches are attacking us. Tell her the pissing story.
It was the right thing to do.
Yes, but why was it the right thing?
If it was the right thing to do, why didn't you tell the Jedi?
Because Indara told me not to. I was going to tell the Jedi, but Indara started lying about all this stuff and I didn't want to get her in trouble because she just saved my life.
Without May, there was no proof you were created in this way.
What? I just said what should have been the next line and he goes off on an entirely different topic. No one cares how are they created. That has literally nothing to do with the murder of the mother. I don't care if they're a dyad or dryad or a dolphin. It still doesn't change the fact that you were attacked and acted in self-defense. I had no other choice. She was turning into a demonic smoke creature made of the Sith.
Why didn't you tell me?
They would have sent you away.
What? Why would they have sent her away because you told her the truth? And they did send her away because she was evil.
You were too old to train.
Wait, what? So if you told her the truth, she wouldn't have been able to train because she was too old. But if you didn't tell her the truth, then despite the fact that she was too old, she would be allowed to train. I feel like you're talking about 5 different subjects in 5 sentences and none of them are related to each other.
They never would have let you become a Jedi.
Well, they would have done if she wasn't evil.
I did what I thought was best for you.
You lied to her because if you hadn't lied to her, then she wouldn't be able to become a Jedi, but she couldn't become a Jedi because she was evil. But if you'd told her the truth, they wouldn't have allowed her to even train. But it's different things whether you lie to her or you lie to the council. This doesn't make any sense.
I wanted to tell you so many times, but I couldn't.
So, because he hasn't told her, anything about the situation, instead, he just talks about training her and how he had to lie to the council rather than describing, what matters. The reason why I defended myself against your murderous lunatic of a mum. Both of them.
Arguably the gayest Star Wars.
So she's just like, stop talking. I need you to stop talking. Have you not seen that I'm evil? You should have detected my evil. All the other Jedi could detect my evil. She doesn't do that, but that's basically what's happening. It's very subtle. So he's like, I did everything for you. I wanted to give you paradise.
Because I love...
I seem to have trouble breathing. For some reason, I'm going much like all of the viewers of the audience wanted to happen a long time ago. I'm unable to speak, which, if the entire crew had been unable to speak, this would have been a much better show. So basically, she's force choking him, which is how you kill without a weapon. This is using the Force as a weapon, just so we're all aware. For the same reason that when Palpatine blasted people with lightning, that was also using a weapon.
Stop talking.
And she's like, haha, I was Vader first, bitch. And now you find out why they love prequels. It means I can tie myself to the history of something greater than myself and say that I did it first. Which in this case, Leslye Headland invented evil. So she's choking the life force out of Sol, and at this point I'm like, well, why doesn't Sol just block her? There should be something that they have to block the force. Push her, pull her, use his own powers against her in some way. Instead, no. He's like, no, I'd quite like to embrace the avocado on toast as well. We see her crystal literally get infected by the evil and turn red, because apparently that's how they work now. Lightsabers are affected by your emotions or something, despite the fact that Leslie's already said the colours of lightsabers are purely aesthetic. Maybe it's because this one was cracked, it let her emotions in, so who knows? No! Why did you humiliate him at the end? That's what I want to know. You're already killing him. At least have him act like a man in his final moments. Why don't you get that's what I want. I want him to go down with him giving her the V's. It's just like... it's just as he's collapsing, he just goes... I'm going down. I'm making sure my last words are gamer words. I'm telling you. I would have had to hold a more intimidating pose, to be honest, than looking like an old granny offering a Werther's original. That movement just, it's just not intimidating, is it? Even when she's choking a guy to death, not intimidating. Just looks like a mop.
That tells me you're afraid of the truth, huh?
And so she crushes his throat. I'm just thinking, now she can do the dishes remotely. That's what Quimere really wanted. It's gonna be like Fantasia around here, with her just remotely controlling mops with her mind. That's it, clean the house and make me a sandwich. I've not seen her have that reaction since she saw Quimere's lightsaber climb out of the water.
Throbbing.
Oh my god, it's so glorious. So Quimere comes over to try and comfort her. I mean, you've just killed the Jedi, he's now your only ally, and maybe that's why. Yes, her evil Sith powers infect her lightsaber and changes the color of the light at something. I have a feeling this is the time for people who really care about the canon to cringe. Doesn't it look so cool and aesthetic, though? I mean, if it was lore, it does actually look pretty cool. But if it's not lore, don't do it. She's like, oh my god, she's just as evil as me. We can go out on the town and have shots. I'm evil! Oh no! What have I done? Don't worry, that doesn't last long. As the Jedi arrive, she senses Quimere. You? Say his pissing name. He's your apprentice. Better put that helmet onto avoid her. Don't want her coming back and nagging you again. So he uses that to track down their location and heads towards the base, while Captain Nutmilk has a conversation with the furry.
Basil, you're alright.
Are you alright, little fella? I'm sorry I've dragged you around just so we can sell merch and you have absolutely no point to the plot.
I know a way out.
So now they're both evil, we can trust each other. Wait, in a future series, are they going to become the rule of two? Would that make them both master and apprentice simultaneously? So they actually turn the rule of two into equality? Oh god. Oh, when you apply their values to the story, it just keeps getting worse. At the elevator now, obviously the man tries to use the buttons. That doesn't work though. I'd be like, darling, look, I know you've got the Force and you can open a door. You do realize there's a lift behind that door though, don't you? Which requires an engine to pick it up, unless you're going to pretend that you sit on the elevator and then Force push your way up it yourself. Congratulations, you've opened a door. The lift still doesn't work though, does it? Of course, both of them go back to the time they fell, and this time, as we link around to the start, like a ring. J.D. Payne would have been proud of this one, I tell you. They both go down the shaft together.
We have to climb down there. You sure?
No. And in fact, when she explains why later on, it gets even more stupid, to be honest.
Trust me.
Trust you? You're evil. Just because she's evil as well doesn't make you any better. But they climb down the mountain to a tunnel. And I'm like, how on earth did you find that one?
When I fell, I got sucked into this core tunnel.
How did you get sucked into there? Do you understand how much wind would be required to push a human body upwards and along a tunnel? You would have done better if you just connected it with a tube. There's no way you're getting sucked anywhere, love, I'm telling you.
Throbbing.
But the Jedi reach the place of the original murderous witches. She sees Sol and senses in the Force the story of what happened in the past. So she should have gone, they got what they pissing deserved, I tell you. Sol did nothing wrong. But she sends off the other Jedi. Some people need to form a 5-click perimeter. There isn't enough of them for that, love. I don't even know how you expect them to do that, personally. And the rest to hunt them down. But she's being watched by Smilo Ren himself. I mean, he could attack her at this point, but you know, probably doesn't have enough power to do that. He does have dangly bits. Instead, she bends over and whispers something to him. And the two evil people escape, despite the fact that they should be held accountable for their actions and face justice. Of course, at that point, the team of Jedi DEI masters are all tracking them down, but as you would expect, lack the competency to do so. Sniff this. That's why, even though they've gone to the bright yellow tree that Sol already knew about, the Jedi don't find them first.
I sat here and I waited.
Why? What were you waiting for? You'd just deliberately burnt down your entire house with everybody in it. Who were you waiting for exactly? Was it to see if anyone survived so you could finish them off? This is the whole point. They're trying to make May and Osha seem like sympathetic. Well, they're just evil filth. Everything you've done is your own fault. The only thing that should happen here is the tree should get hit by lightning and it falls over and squashes them.
Sorry, I didn't believe you.
Yeah, but what about the events that actually... She set you on fire and Sol defended himself from your murderous lunatics. Why are we pretending that the mother is anything other than scum?
I'm sorry I started that fire.
I'm sorry I tried to murder you. What? And she's like, oh, that's okay. Now you've apologized, it makes it all better. No, that's not how apologies work. She's got to go to prison for 25 years first before even thinking about apologizing. You wiped out everyone in the fortress. I just wanted a lightsaber to go straight through her at this point. Why are we crying? We're evil. Remember when Leslye Headland said this was a story about her and her own sister? We're reconnecting because now we're both evil together. This is where you realize they just put a mop on their head, so it was easier to hide the other stunt actor.
You are with me. I am with you.
So they start saying the poem again, and let's be honest, it was cringe then, and it's worse now, because you're both evil crying, and all the Jedi should just immediately come and wipe you off the face of the planet.
Who taught us that rhyme?
If I can find you, so can the Jedi.
Good. It'd give us the opportunity for another fight. So the Jedi obviously failed to track them down because if they're actually competent in anything, we wouldn't have had this problem to begin with. And Osha comes out with probably the most stupid line in the entire series.
We'll explain what Sol did. They'll have to...
They'll have to what? We'll explain what Sol did. Sol didn't do anything. You just murdered Sol for no reason in cold blood. He didn't attack you at all. What you did wasn't self-defense. You're like your mothers. You're just blaming a man for your own actions when you got what you deserved. So I really don't know how you think you can talk your way out of this one, apart from, obviously, bad script writing. So he's like, after everything, you put your faith in it's true. You are both evil.
Osha, when they find out how powerful you are.
That's why he thinks the Jedi won't trust them, because she's too powerful. Not that she's gone around and murdered a Jedi Master for absolutely no reason in cold blood. Morality, folks. This is what Hollywood wants everybody to be like.
We'll meet the same fate as our mother. You
deserve to meet the same fate as your mother. You've been going around killing Jedi Masters.
What do we do?
what they should do and what happens are very different things. Turns out Osha wants to train with the evil Sith Lord, but they also decide to leave May behind for the Jedi for absolutely no reason whatsoever as far as I can tell. And so because the Jedi would use May to track them down, they wipe May's memory rather than just not giving May to the Jedi in the first place. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? It's like, if I wipe her memory, it'll wipe out any trace of you or me.
Permanently.
Do it.
Why? You can just not go with the pissing Jedi. This isn't difficult. The ship is big enough for both of you. They can squeeze.
I can't lose you again. You're not.
This year's, you're having your entire memory wiped. That basically makes you a new person. A different person. Probably one who's not evil this time. Although your genetics will probably make that happen anyway.
You're going to do what you were meant to do.
You were always destined to be evil. Well, yeah, she was a product of the dark side of the Force, raised by murderous dark side witches. I guess she was always destined to be evil, actually.
And I won't stop you this time.
What? You didn't stop her last time. She wanted to join the Jedi before. That's what you stopped her from. You stopped her from being good, not stopped her from being evil. You're more than happy for her to embrace evil and the dark side. So she shakes his hand. It's like, there's the fair deal between us, because I know you're a fair, evil Sith Lord. But instead of shaking his hand, he gives her the lightsaber as like this. I will give you a weapon. Which is rather stupid to do, because if she activated it, he would die. And they hug as he wipes her memory, and we cry because we're all evil together. It's such a moving moment as everybody embraces filth. I said that the Acolyte was the distilled symbol of their entire ideology. I just didn't expect them to be this honest, to be honest. It's a bit like Barbie, where they just come out and say it. Like, there's no mask involved at all. Like, they're not even smart enough to try and hide it.
I'll fight you.
I don't want you to. You're supposed to feel sorry for them. They're evil. I don't want the two of you to ever team up ever again. We are now at the end of the story. There is literally nothing that could possibly happen to the three of you that wouldn't be deserved. The more gruesome and horrific the end, the better the ending is. We are now in the time of the cathartic justice as the villain gets what they deserve. And you're like, no, let's cry and I'll come and save you because we're sisters. It doesn't matter if you're family, if you're pissing evil.
You are with me. I'm with you.
So she gets a memory wiped.
As above sits the stars.
And that is apparently all it took. And I'm like, hang on, why didn't we do that to many people? Every time you've got a problem, you just be like, from job done. And it zooms out as if, isn't this a wonderful emotional moment? I'm like, no, this is horrific. Somebody, lightsaber, face. I just wanted the ship to fly over and drop a quantum torpedo on him. So as the Jedi turn up too late and find a memory wiped May, I mean, just look at him run. I like, seriously, just watch him run. Now I'm gonna try and be intimidating.
Don't move. Lay down any weapons that you have and surrender.
Or what? You're gonna braid my hair? You're gonna give me a makeover and do my nails? What exactly is the threat here?
You're under arrest.
Or else what? This is why you need men who are intimidating, so they can actually portray authority in a situation.
What did I do?
Well, you were pure evil for the last 8 episodes, so, you know. They take her back to Coruscant, though, and to Leslye Headland's wife.
Remove her restraints.
Don't worry, I'm more evil than she is. I can take her. Their conversation is basically just setting up Series 2 at this point. She's like, they say I killed somebody, but I don't remember it. And that she can't remember anything since then she was 8 years old. And set a fire to murder her entire family. They said I was evil, but I can't remember it. Hang on, I do remember burning my entire family to death. Make it make sense.
He killed my mother.
Yeah, your mother got what she had coming to her. That's what she gets for turning into a demonic Sith, evil creature of the dark side, just like you and your sister. So then, Leslye Headland's wife just starts lying about Saul. How he was kind, but he did a terrible thing. And she basically blames him for all of the problems, rather than the 2 evil twins that caused it all. Just so she can't say the word Sith and break Star Wars canon. We're just gonna make up something that doesn't make any sense. Just 16 years ago, 4 Jedi were stationed on Brendok, where they committed acts of violence. They conspired to keep their actions secret, but when the plan came out, Saul turned and killed all of them.
A rogue Jedi named Soul killed his accomplices.
Because we're not going to blame the evil creature we've got in custody.
To maintain the cover story.
There's absolutely no reason to blame Saul for this, because they've got the evil creature that did it, and she's not a Jedi. You can literally just go, this Sith did it. And they're going to say that, oh, we did this because the Senate might get rid of the Jedi, so she's lying to protect the Jedi. The thing is, if Sith are in the universe, you need the Jedi even more. So there is an active reason to tell the truth. Again, like there was with Indara. The cover-up doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry, my friend.
You should be sorry. You're an idiot. Instead, in an attempt to protect the Jedi, she's now said the Jedi are the problem and she's sorry about it. And that protects it more than saying the truth, which is that it wasn't their fault. In Leslye Headland's obsession to try and make the Jedi look bad, that makes absolutely no sense. There is no reason for her to do this. It's even like we need to review them immediately because they're clearly lunatics who can't even control their own people. Rather than just get Sith did it, it was nothing to do with us. We're tracking them down. We actually caught one of them.
It was the work of one flawed man.
But there's something dangerous about those women.
That man wasn't flawed. That man made absolutely no mistakes. That man did his duty. Well, the only mistake he made. The only mistake he made is not sticking a lightsaber in Osha's face. But apart from that, well, Osha and May's face, his flaw was that he was too nice. And you've decided to cover for that by putting Osha and May on a pedestal like he did. So she covered it up by burning his body back on Brendok and saying he topped himself, all because she doesn't want to say that the Sith have come back.
Saul made a mistake.
No, he didn't.
A mistake he lived with for so long, it twisted his mind.
There was no mistake. His only thought process should have been, and I'd do it again.
Justified every selfish step.
None of it was selfish. In fact, if it was selfish, he would have been in less problems. Because for a start, that creature across you on the opposite side of the table wouldn't even be there.
With the love he had for your sister.
That was the mistake. Maybe we should wipe out the evil demonic Sith creations of the twins.
The Jedi have failed you.
Failed to put a lightsaber in your face. But she said, I need your help. I need you to help me find somebody. How she's meant to help in that with no memory, I have no idea. But here we are. And then, back on the Cortosis planet, she's like, I'm so glad I've come here. Now, I get to see you bathe more often. And she looks at his neck. Throbbing. Gazes deeply into his pulsating eyes as he grips his hand and hers around the thick lightsaber shaft. Throbbing. It's so romantic when people turn to evil.
Throbbing.
What is even happening? Oh, it's the greatest story of all time.
Our view lowers to reveal the back of a head with pointy green ears and thin tufts of white hair.
This is literally a story written by the most perverted people in society. Whereas rather than going, oh, everyone's got grey, oh, there's them all. No, there's just simply good and evil. Like Leslye Headland's wife, evil. Osha and May, evil. Camille, evil. Most of the Jedi, incompetent because they're ruled by evil. And then you had Sol, whose only problem seemed to be that he basically let himself get walked over by evil. I think the lesson out of all of this is stop showing compassion to evil. That basically it gets what it deserves. And when they come to you on bended knee, begging that your principles save them, no, because you're evil and you don't get the benefit of those. Sol died because he was treating Osha and May as if she was him, as he would want to be treated if he was his own prisoner. The thing is, they're not the same, and they're certainly not equal. Osha and May were evil. Every time he had them on the ship, they wanted to engage in evil, and it was his own downside. And when he actually tried to stop them, when he was going to run over evil in his ship, well, then his friend stopped him doing it. That furry little creature who's supposed to be the nice thing in the series, the Merch, got Sol killed because he wouldn't let Sol do what needed to be done. But I think the fundamental lesson of this is if Sol never got involved with Osha and May, if he never sided up to literal evil Sith babies and thought that he could save them, that they could be changed, then he never would have had any of these issues, any of these problems, and he'd still be alive today, a better man. As Sol's biggest weakness is that he thought his principles applied to everybody, rather than just people like him in the Jedi, which shared those same principles. As I do think Leslye Headland achieved one message, showing that people's morality isn't the same, certainly not shared, and as you saw from Osha and May, it causes them to do some absolute horrific things, and yet still think they're the victims somehow, and that they think the Jedi deserved it, no matter how many times they persecuted those same Jedi. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe, more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.